The sun was bright over the meadow, warm golden light spilling across the grass like honey. Bees buzzed busily from flower to flower, butterflies painted the air with their wings, and the tall stalks of wild daisies nodded in the gentle wind. Beneath all this beauty, on a dusty little path near the roots of an oak tree, a tiny ant trudged steadily forward. On her back she carried a single grain of rice, larger than her head, heavier than her whole body, but she bore it with patience and determination. Her name was Amina, and she belonged to the colony that lived beneath the roots of the oak. Every day from dawn to dusk, Amina worked. She followed the trail to the far edges of the meadow, searched for seeds, crumbs, and fallen grains, and carried them back to the colony. One by one, her loads filled the underground storerooms. The other ants worked beside her, some dragging dried leaves, others pushing berries, and together they created a bustling line of industry. If you stood still long enough, you would hear their soft chanting, "Work today, eat tomorrow, work today, eat tomorrow." But not everyone in the meadow lived by this motto. Perched lazily upon a stalk of grass was Gilbert the grasshopper. Gilbert was tall and lean, with long, springy legs and wings that shimmered green in the sunlight. He was the finest fiddler in the meadow. At least that's what he told anyone who would listen. With his wings rubbing together, he played tunes that echoed through the air like tiny violins. He laughed often, sang loudly, and thought life was far too short to spend bent over grains of rice. "Good morning, little ant," Gilbert called down as Amina passed by with her heavy load. "Why strain yourself with such boring chores? The day is too beautiful for work. Come and sing with me." Amina paused to set her grain down and looked up kindly. "Gilbert, the sun is shining now, but it will not shine forever. Winter will come, and when the frost covers the meadow, food will be scarce. I must prepare." Gilbert flipped into the air, landing beside her with a playful grin. "Winter, winter, winter, always you ants speak of winter. Why think of tomorrow when today is full of song? Listen." He scraped his wings together in a jaunty tune. "Doesn't that make you want to dance?" Amina smiled politely but shook her head. "Music is wonderful, Gilbert, but it will not fill your belly when snow falls." With that, she lifted her grain again and trudged onward. Gilbert shrugged and bounded away to join a cluster of dragonflies, turning the day into a festival of noise. Days passed into weeks, and the meadow swelled with summer abundance. Ants gathered diligently. They marched in endless lines, each ant carrying more than its own weight, each ant knowing the work was shared by all. Their storerooms grew fat with seeds, nuts, berries, and crumbs. Amina, though often tired, felt proud each evening when she saw the shelves filling up. Gilbert, meanwhile, made every day into a holiday. He leapt across the meadow, challenged butterflies to races, played concerts for ladybugs, and even invented games that had no rules at all. One day, he tied blades of grass into a swing and sailed back and forth singing, "Oh, what joy, oh, what cheer, no need to worry when summer is here." Another day, he invited beetles and bees to a feast where the main dish was sunlight itself, because he hadn't gathered a single crumb. The insects laughed at his silliness, but when Amina passed by with her loads, they always shook their heads and said, "You should be more like the ants." Gilbert ignored them. "Why store what you can enjoy?" he sang. "The world provides, and tomorrow will always be as sunny as today." But tomorrow was not always sunny. The first hint of change came in a sharp wind that rattled the branches of the oak. Amina shivered, even though she had grown used to cool evenings. Soon the wildflowers dropped their petals, the grass grew brown, and the insects who had sung all summer grew quiet. Autumn came, red and gold sweeping over the meadow, and food became harder to find. Still, Amina and her colony marched, carrying the last of the harvest underground. Gilbert, however, played on, though his songs grew lonelier as fewer friends came to dance. Then, one morning, frost glittered across the ground. The meadow was hushed, no buzzing, no chirping. Amina closed the last door of the anthill, safe and warm inside with her family and their gathered food. Gilbert awoke to frozen grass, empty fields, and a stomach that growled louder than his fiddle. He searched the meadow, but the berries were gone, the seeds buried, The flowers wilted. He knocked on hollow stems and peered into empty logs, but there was nothing. Hungry and cold, he hopped slowly to the oak tree, his legs trembling. At the base, he found the tiny doorway to the anthill. He tapped weakly. Amina opened the door. Her eyes widened at the sight of Gilbert, who looked nothing like the proud, laughing fiddler she remembered. His wings drooped, his voice cracked as he spoke. "Amina, you were right. I played all summer, and now I have nothing. Please, forgive me. May I share your food until spring?" For a long moment, silence filled the doorway. The other ants gathered behind Amina, whispering. Some said, "He mocked us. Let him suffer." Others said, "If we help him, he will learn." Amina studied Gilbert's tired face. She saw regret there, and shame. Her heart softened. She opened the door wider. "Come in, Gilbert. You may share what we have, but you must promise, when spring returns, to work beside us. Life is brighter with music, but it cannot be music alone." Gilbert bowed his head. "I promise." All winter long, the ants and the grasshopper shared their home. At first, Gilbert felt clumsy in the busy tunnels, unused to such constant work, but he learned to sweep the storerooms, patch cracks in the walls, and help carry food from one chamber to another. At night, when the ants rested, he played gentle songs that warmed their hearts and made the dark season feel less lonely. The ants realized his music had value, just as he realized their work had wisdom. When spring finally returned, bursting with blossoms and buzzing life, Amina marched out as always to gather food. And this time, Gilbert marched beside her. He carried seeds on his back, still humming tunes as he went, but now his songs had a new rhythm, steady, strong, full of purpose. The meadow listened and learned that work and joy could live together, side by side. Moral of the story: life needs balance. Work prepares us for tomorrow, and joy brightens today. Too much of one without the other leaves us empty, but together they create a life worth living.